Have you ever seen this image? If you don't know what it is, well, it's the Guatemalan stone head. This gigantic and mysterious statue was discovered quite a long time ago in the heart of the jungles of Guatemala. It represents a face with fine features, with thin lips and a big nose, all looking towards the sky. The strange thing about this face is that it had Caucasian features, which was incompatible with the pre-Hispanic orogeny of America. This discovery quickly aroused the attention of researchers and scientists, but also that of historians who could not find an explanation for it. Today, this stone head is unfortunately forgotten. Do you want us to tell you about other discoveries that were made by chance in the heart of the jungles of the world? Then make yourself comfortable. Today we will take you on a journey to discover all the mysteries that the jungles hold. A well-hidden secret. Since the first camera appeared, it is estimated that billions, no, trillions of photos have been taken around the world. This tool, which has become indispensable for researchers, scientists, and explorers, was the cause of an incredible discovery. Indeed, during a routine expedition in a jungle, a man would have fallen on an old camera. By submitting it to examinations, one discovered their seizing and extraordinary photographs. Among them, the image of a monkey man, or rather, of a monkey looking like a man. Well, we don't really know anymore what or who it is exactly. It seems that it is probably a caveman. But still, we have to believe in the Darwinian theory. In any case, the individual in the photo was dressed as a man, but he was also in a very precarious state, which suggested that he had been living in the jungle for a long time. What do you think this could be? Extraterrestrial and floating orb? This image comes from a video filmed by two British tourists visiting the Manaus region of the Amazon. In the rainforest, two very strange creatures were spotted and filmed by camera, but the images did not identify the nature of these things that seemed to come straight from another planet. While the camera is focused on young children, as you can see, we notice behind them a strange silhouette standing with its back slightly arched, a figure similar to those we are used to seeing on television in science fiction movies. A few meters away from her, a luminous object, a beam of light, as if someone was holding a torch in his hand, except that this was not possible since they were in broad daylight. While for many the images can simply be interpreted as a well-made hoax, Mr. Cohen, a writer who runs the famous paranormal website allnewsweb.com, suggests that the photos prove in part the irrefutable existence of aliens. The aliens would thus be interested in this region for its biological diversity. Moreover, it has been the subject of several high-level investigations by the Brazilian government in the past. The most important one was known as Operation Prado, during which the army was sent to monitor and confirm a foreign presence in the area. Do you think we would be making all this fuss if there were no real reasons to doubt the existence of these little beings? Leprechaun in sight. Irvin is a man who used to hang out very often in a jungle in the United States. One day, with a camera in his hand, the man accidentally filmed something very strange. And the reason he had a camera at his disposal is because the man says he used to regularly come across leprechauns in the woods and wanted to capture one to show the world. So, in 2017, he managed to film the presence of a leprechaun who was hiding behind him. Do you think these are real facts or faked images? Tell us what you think in the comments. Hiro Onoda, in the jungle, hidden. It was December 1944 during the last months of World War II, when a Japanese army lieutenant named Hiro Onoda was transferred to Lubang, a small island in the Philippines. A few weeks later, he fled an American attack with his compatriots to hide in the forest. That's how he stayed hidden there for 30 years, during which his only mission was to protect the island until the return of the Imperial Army. Onoda was in charge of destroying the airstrip and a pier in Lubang Harbor, in addition to any enemy planes or crews that tried to land. For 30 years, he lived with reptiles, insects, and wild animals, and fed on banana peels. coconuts, and fruits of all kinds. When he returned to Japan in 1974, Hiro Onoda was welcomed as a hero as he was the last Japanese soldier to return home after the war. His story is so compelling that it has been made into an epic 3-hour movie, 10,000 Nights in the Jungle, and a novel. Both detail the incredible adventure of this man considered a modern-day Robinson Crusoe. The Weaver of Stonehenge. In 2013, an American student with a passion for entomology, Troy Alexander, was in the Amazon rainforest when he made an incredible discovery. A small white spike surrounded by a circle of silk, lying on a tree trunk. The young student quickly photographed the thing as it was the first time he had seen a phenomenon like this. Very quickly, the research he conducted allowed him to find about 40 of them in the whole area. Experienced entomologists who had never seen anything like this before understood that it was a spider's web. A spider, yes, but what was it like? What kind of arachnid would have managed to create a spike encircled by such a well-made fence? It wasn't until 2014 that part of the answer came after the web in question was examined in the lab. Research scientists realized then that the small spike in the center of the fence housed a spider egg. But it is still not known what species of spider is capable of doing such a job, especially when we know that spiders are used to laying several eggs at a time and that they stay close to protect them from external attacks. This web was obviously abandoned. The mystery remains. The rarest gorillas in the world. In Cameroon, in the Kavwin Gorilla Sanctuary, created by the government in 2008 to protect the Cross River gorilla, a team of photographers and researchers had a wonderful encounter. Well, not an encounter per se, but a remote encounter. A pack of 8 Cross River gorillas were filmed thanks to a camera trap that was set up to monitor them and study their way of life. And if we wanted to study them, it is because these gorillas are a very rare species in the world, with less than 250 individuals remaining in their entire range, limited to the remote forested mountainous terrain of the Nigerian-Cameroon border region. Cross River gorillas are a notoriously elusive species, very rarely observed directly by researchers in the field. The images are absolutely phenomenal. They provide insight into the behavior of this species of gorillas in their natural environment, where normally these shy animals tend to flee at the slightest hint of human presence. The camera even managed to capture the legendary and classic chest thumping that everyone expects when they see a gorilla. Today, these gorillas are well protected in the sanctuary, and an entire team is on hand to make sure they live well, even though they almost never see them. This subspecies of gorilla is unfortunately classified as critically endangered and is threatened by both habitat destruction and hunting, as the local human population exploits the natural resources of the area. The local people do not necessarily hunt these gorillas, but they do hunt other animals that are part of their food chain, which indirectly harms them. An alien in Malaysia. Some time ago, Malaysian social media was shaken by the broadcasting of striking images of a strange creature crawling in the ruined forest of a palm oil plantation near the village of Cebu. Many immediately thought of an alien. The Borneo Post media described the individual as a clawed, hairless animal that appeared to be working in palm fields and struggling over a pile of dry palm leaves, as if it were running away from someone. Some dubbed the mysterious creature the Malaysian chupacabra. Wildlife authorities in the state of Sarawak Forestry Corporation said as for the animal was a Malay bear, claiming that it may have been accidentally led to the plantation because of flooding nearby. Moreover, environmentalists from the conservation group Nature Talks Back have severely condemned the attack on the bear and put their finger on the lamentable conditions in which some animals live because of human exploitation. For them, the animal most likely lost its fur because of a disease, or because someone shaved or mistreated it. The Indians are getting scared. Normally, it's more for other white people to get scared when they meet a tribe of red-skinned Indians, since they live separated from the rest of the world and their way of life is quite intriguing. But when you see these images, you'll understand that all human beings have the same instinct after all, and that they might have a much more disturbing common enemy. While these young boys were swimming and having fun in a river in the heart of a Brazilian jungle, they noticed a strange figure behind them. Don't ask me to tell you more, since even they, who were at the scene, couldn't identify the mysterious creature that was stalking them. They ended up swimming away without looking back. What do you think it was? A dead humpback whale. In the Amazon jungle of Brazil, near the mouth of the Amazon River, researchers made the astonishing discovery of a humpback whale about 15 meters from the shore of Araruna Beach along the Marajo Bay in Soura. What is disconcerting to these researchers is that it is very rare to observe a whale in the area at this time of year. According to reports from the Brazilian non-profit environmental group Bicha de Aqua, the animal weighed 10 tons and was 8 meters long. Although some local officials claim it was 11 meters long. Despite this titanic size, the animal had not yet reached adulthood, since according to National Geographic's Animal Reference Guide, humpback whales do not reach maturity until they weigh 40 tons and are the size of a bus, or about 19 meters long. The Municipal Secretariat of Health, Sanitation and Environment of the region, for its part, said that the animal did not appear to have any injuries on its body, which made it difficult for investigators to understand how the whale ended up in the brush. Only two theories are plausible. Either the tide was so powerful that it ejected the whale inland, or the whale was already dead at sea and was transported by humans. A Maya city discovered in Guatemala. Great discovery in the north of Guatemala. A dozen Mayan cities connected to each other have been discovered and have baffled scientists. According to the National Geographic, the Mayan cities had been quietly sleeping in the heart of the jungle for centuries. Hidden by the vegetation of the region of El Petén on the border of Mexico and Belize, archaeologists and researchers have managed to identify the ruins of more than 60,000 houses, palaces, roadways, and pyramids, thanks to a revolutionary technology of detection and telemetry based on light waves called LIDAR, mounted on drones. These drones penetrated the dense and rough foliage to locate the natural sinkholes with their thermal sensors. In total, the project surveyed more than 2,100 kilometers square of the Maya Biosphere Reserve. The results of the research suggest that several centuries ago, a very advanced civilization lived in Central America, which at its peak was comparable to the sophisticated cultures of ancient Greece or China, and had nothing of the scattered and poorly organized city-states that everyone imagined. In addition to the hundreds of structures discovered behind the vegetation, high causeways revealed by LIDAR imagery came to light. These causeways connected urban centers and gravel pits. Added to that, very sophisticated irrigation systems, as well as terraces supporting an agriculture rich and abundant enough to feed men. Health ant, health wasp. You surely know several species of ants, big ones, flying ones, very small ones. But there is a species of ants that you certainly never heard about, since they have just been discovered recently in a jungle in Chile. It is the panda ant. It is true it is not as big as the panda, but it is not as nice. The panda ant is actually categorized in the wasp family, and who wants to say wasp necessarily means painful sting. Very different from the yellow and black striped wasps, the panda ant is a very rare species that buzzes and hums on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, more exactly in South America. It does not fly, it measures only a few millimeters, and yet the panda ant has the reputation of having an unbearable sting. It is not for nothing that it is also called the cow killer. The males are the only ones to be equipped with wings, which allow them to spot the females before mating. Once resting on the ground, the females then go in search of a wasp nest to colonize it and lay their eggs. Not very nice. Once the eggs are hatched, the larvae that emerge develop like parasites and feed on external host, which they eventually kill. Once adult, the males feed on nectar, and the females offer themselves more greedy pleasures by feeding on ants, larvae, and caterpillars. The White City of Honduras. In 2011, a team of American and Honduran archaeologists discovered the vestiges of a pre-Columbian civilization. Vestiges which would let believe that it would be perhaps about the mythical White City, object of numerous researches since years. It would be even very probably about the most important discovery of the beginning of the 21st century. The city, which one also calls the city of the monkey god, arouses passions since thousands of years. It would be situated in Mosquitia, in the northeast of Honduras. According to the official site of the National Geographic Society, the researchers found places, earthworks, mounds, as well as a pyramid belonging to a 1,000-year-old culture. They also found intact stone sculptures that may have been given as offerings to the monkey god. According to local legends, the indigenous inhabitants used to find refuge in this white city to escape from Spanish attacks. According to one of the archaeologists who participated in the expedition, the fact that the site is still virgin and unexploited is extremely rare. But we think strongly that something would have made them flee. Yes, but what? We will tell you a little more at the end of the video. Yeti? Are you there? A British explorer from Oxford University named Eric Shipton spent 60 years of his life looking for the Yeti, convinced that it exists. In 1951, while searching for an alternative route to Mount Everest, Shipton found something incredible on his way to the Menlung Glacier on the border between Nepal and Tibet. A footprint that appeared to be hominin. The photo fascinated by its incredible sharpness. The snow was so firm and dense that it looked like a plaster cast. Moreover, it looked very much like a human foot with a thumb. It was about 33 centimeters long, which is a lot for a human foot to be. Since then, the craze to find the Yeti has only grown stronger. Do you think this is indeed the footprint of Yeti? The Man Eating Parasite. It seems that the jungle of Honduras has not finished revealing its mysteries. Earlier, we spoke to you about the city of the monkey god. It is thought that this one would have been abandoned in 1520 by the Aztecs after a parasite eating human had elected residence there, from where the fact that the city remained intact. The team that discovered the city in 2011 was also struck by this dangerous parasite, which attacked them multiple times while they were in the heart of La Mosquita. This man-eating parasite was a real danger, so much so that the team had to ask for assistance to get them out of the jungle. Otherwise, they would be beaten by these parasites, which presumably love human flesh.